Hello everyone, this is Saurabh and today we'll talk about Chinese historic legends and tale, and we'll talk about Huangdi, the emperor. Chinese people often refer to themselves as descendants of Huangdi or the Yellow Emperor. It is a part real and part legendary person who is credited with founding the Chinese nation around 4000 BC. He is known as the Yellow Emperor for his imperial color, chosen for the tones of the yellow earth. Many extravagant trails grew up around him, a collection of legend written down in the Warring State period, that is about 475 to 221 BC, gives this account. Huangdi lived in a magnificent place in Kunlun Mountains in the west, with a heavenly doorkeeper who had the face of a man, the body of a tiger, and 9 tails. The Kunlun Mountains were full of rare birds and animals, and exotic flowers and plants. And Huangdi had pet bird that helped take care of his clothes and personal effects. To Huangdi is attributed the invention of the cart, the boat, and the south pointing chariot, a chariot with a great mechanism or gear mechanism that enabled a pointer to always indicate south, no matter which way the cart turned. It is said that Huangdi took one with him in battle. He is credited with the laws of astronomy and drawing up the first calendar used by Chinese people. His supposed conversation on diagnosis and treatment with physician Qi Po are contained in China's first medical book, Neijing, or the Yellow Emperor's Canon of Medicine. Lei Zhu, which is Huangdi's wife, is said to have taught the people to raise silkworm and weave beautiful silk fabric. So apparently, encouragement of the initiative of talented person was a thing as much desired then as it is now. For the Warring States account mentioned that this was one of Huangdi's strong point. As a result, a whole list of men are credited with inventions. Sangchie of pictographs, Ling Lun, the 12-tone music scale, Li Shou, various measuring instruments, and the craftsman Fang Po, who actually built this south pointing chariot. These things all did come into existence 4 or 5,000 years ago. So in this way, the Yellow Emperor had become the symbol of the culture of Chinese nation and the representative of its talent. A pavilion on Cyprus covered Mount Qiaoshan in Huangling country on the road north from Xi'an is Shaanxi province, marked the place said to be his grave. Their ceremonies have been performed honoring him as the founder of Chinese nation. A theory has been advanced that Huangdi may represent a real leader of a tribal confederation of the Yang Shao Neolithic culture. A story which may originate in a memory of tribal wars between Huangdi and Cheyo is related in the Taiping Yulan compiled by Li Fang and others between 977 and 981 AD. Cheyo is described therein as a god and in other sources as leader of tribe. He had 72 brothers. Some accounts also say there were 81. All of them were ferocious visage, such as a head of bronze and forehead of iron, a human face and body of an animal. He was skilled at making weapons and casting bronze, and his arrows, axes, and spears were unparalleled. He took his man to Shandong and attacked the tribe of Yanti, driving him into Huangdi's territory around Tuolu, and northwest Hebei province. The latter was angered and went in battle with Choyo. So he was no rival for Choyo and at first suffered several defeats. Choyo at first conjured up a thick fog which blurred the vision of Yellow Emperor's men. Luckily, the south pointing chariot helped them know their way. Huangdi also had his men make bugles. There were in Choyo's army many spirits, but they were afraid of the sound of certain kind of dragon. So the Yellow Emperor had his men make instruments out of animal horns, which duplicated the sounds, and demons were paralyzed with fear. Choyo called on a god of wind and rain and blew up a tempest, but Huangdi's brought out his daughter, who emanated an enormous amount of heat and dried up the storm. Before Choyo's brother could recover from their surprise, Huangdi's forces defeated them. The last and decisive battle was fought at Chaolu. Choyo had gone for help to the Huafu, a clan of giants in the north. Its ancestors were Huafu who raced with the sun and died of thirst. And they drove Huangdi back 50 li. Li is a measure of distance. But using the strategy learned from goddess of ninth heaven, Huangdi finally defeated them. Choyo retreated until he reached what is today's Shaanxi. There he was captured by Huangdi's men and beheaded. To make sure the head would not reunite with the body, Huangdi sent it to be buried 1,000 li away. The place where Choyo was beheaded came to be called Xie, Xian. Xie is to severe and Xian is country, and it is still known as that today. Nearby there is a salt lake with water of a reddish color, tinted. People say because it is tinted with Choyo's blood. After the defeat of Choyo, Huangdi became leader of all the tribes on the central plains. He ruled an area stretching east to the sea, west to today's Gansu province, south to the Changjiang River or Yangtze River, and north into today's Shaanxi and Hebei provinces. Legend had it that he lived to be 110 years old, and then a dragon came and took him back to heaven where he belonged.